The challenge begins in the center of the galaxy. There was a shining city made of metal and light. This place was called the Star Hall, where rulers of many alien empires came together to talk, trade, and show their power. Today was a special day. The famous Princess Thalara, daughter of the Empress of Stars, was going to speak. She was tall, proud, and had skin that shimmered like silver. Her armor was made of living metal that moved with her breath. She was known for her sharp words and sharper mind. She believed no race was smarter, stronger, or more advanced than her own. As she stood in front of the Grand Council, she smiled proudly. "Our empire has crushed 1,000 enemies," she said loudly, "and still we hear rumors that Earth, a small, backward planet, dares to send a human to represent them. Is this some kind of joke?" The room laughed. Aliens from different worlds chuckled, nodded, or whispered in agreement. Then the doors opened. Everyone turned. A human stepped inside. He wore old, dented armor, nothing shiny, nothing glowing. No weapon, no crown, no guards. Just a man walking, slowly and calmly, like he didn't care about the stairs. His name was Cade. He stopped in front of the princess and bowed his head slightly. Then he looked up, eyes calm, voice steady. "I am Cade, representative of Earth. I heard there was a challenge." The laughter grew louder. Princess Thalara raised an eyebrow. She walked closer, her voice full of pride. "This is the best Earth has?" she asked. "Look at this armor. It belongs in a museum. Are humans really this weak?" Cade smiled slightly, but didn't reply. The council leader, an old alien with 4 eyes, stood up. "According to the rules," he said, "all races may prove their strength through the trial. Do you accept the challenge, human?" "I do," Cade said. Thalara laughed. "Very well. Let the galaxy watch as the human fails." The next moment, the hall shifted. The floor opened, and a bright blue light covered Cade. He disappeared. He had entered the trial simulation, a digital world built by the Empire to test warriors. Many had died inside. Even robots sometimes failed. Inside the simulation, Cade found himself in a strange alien jungle. The sky was purple. The trees were tall and made of glass. Dangerous creatures moved between the shadows. In a floating room above, the council watched the trial on large screens. Princess Thalara leaned back in her chair, smiling. "This will not take long," she said. Cade looked around. His armor made a soft clicking noise as he moved. He scanned the area, noticed traps, and set up a safe space to rest. Soon, a giant beast with red eyes attacked. It had killed many before him, but Cade didn't run. He stood still. Then, at the last second, he jumped sideways, used the beast's weight against it, and made it fall into a hidden pit trap. It roared, but it was too late. In the viewing room, the council members leaned forward. Whispers started. "How did he see that trap?" one asked. "He's not fast, but he's clever," another said. Princess Thalara frowned. Just a little. An hour passed. Cade had built a shelter, made tools, and even saved another trapped simulation soldier, a digital copy of a real alien warrior. He was not just surviving. He was winning, and he hadn't even used any advanced tech. Back in the hall, Princess Thalara stood. Her voice had lost its laughter. "What kind of armor is that?" she asked. "It looks old. But it's doing something strange." The council leader zoomed in on the screen. The armor had small lights moving inside it, like it was thinking. "He's hiding something," Thalara whispered. "No human should be this good." As the sun set in the simulation, Cade sat under a glowing tree. He removed his helmet slowly. The screen went dark for a second, then came back. What the council saw next made them silent. Inside that old helmet was something they had never seen: human neural tech, built into his body, directly connected to his brain. It looked ancient, but acted smarter than any AI in The galaxy. Princess Thalara stared at the screen. For the first time. She didn't know what to say. The duel of wits and fire. The room was silent. Princess Thalara, once full of pride, now stood frozen. Her silver eyes stared at the screen. What she saw inside the simulation changed everything. That human Cade was no simple soldier. He had removed his helmet. And inside, they saw strange human technology connected to his skin, his brain, his thoughts. It looked like ancient metal, but it moved and blinked with unknown energy. She leaned forward. "What are you hiding, human?" she whispered. Meanwhile, inside the trial simulation, the air was getting hotter. Cade stood at the edge of a massive canyon. Lava flowed below like a river of fire. The next phase of the trial had begun. A voice echoed in the sky. It was robotic, cold, and without emotion. "Second test. Cross the fire path. 30 minutes. Death is final." Floating platforms rose from the lava. Some were stable. Some exploded after 5 seconds. Others spun fast or dropped suddenly. No map. No guide. No second chance. Above, in the control room, many aliens shook their heads. "No one survives this test," one said. "Not even our war generals." "He doesn't have the speed," said another. "He's too heavy in that armor." But Cade didn't move. He closed his eyes and waited. 5 seconds. 10. 15. Then he threw a rock. The rock landed on a nearby platform. It exploded. He threw another one. That platform stayed solid. He kept testing. Thalara watched closely now. Her pride turned into curiosity. "He's solving it like a puzzle," she said. Cade studied wind speed, platform timing, and sound echoes. Then he made his first jump. One step, pause, another jump. Then a roll. A slide. Each move was perfect. Not fast but accurate. Like a machine. Halfway across, the platform started moving faster. A fire drone flew at him. He ducked under it, then jumped onto a spinning platform, barely catching the edge. His fingers gripped tight. His armor sparked. But he held on. Everyone watching leaned forward. Even the ones who laughed before. Princess Thalara bit her lip. She hated this feeling respect for a human. At the final jump, the biggest platform broke in. 2. Cade fell. Gasps filled the room. But then he pulled something from his belt. A rope. Hidden inside his old armor. He shot it like a grappling hook. It caught a metal claw above. He swung hard and crashed into the wall on the other side. Safe. Alive. Trial passed. In the viewing chamber. Silence turned into confused whispers. How? How did he think of that? Did you see his timing? That armor, it's smarter than it looks. Princess Thalara turned to the council leader. "I want a full scan on that armor." And his neural link. Something doesn't make sense. Later that day, in the council war room, the scan reports arrived. But they were useless. The human armor blocked 90% of their tech. Even their most advanced scanners couldn't see inside. The neural system was encrypted in a code unknown to them. Impossible. The tech chief said, "This code rewrites itself every second." "It's like it's alive." Thalara stared at the screen. "This human is not what he seems." Back inside the simulation, Cade sat on a rock drinking water. His energy levels were dropping, but he looked calm. He whispered quietly, "Status." "Check." A soft voice answered from inside his helmet. "Status, 62% complete. Mission stable. Observation success." Then the voice changed. Warning, unauthorized scan detected. Cade smiled. They're getting curious. He looked up. Like he could see the stars even inside the simulation. Let them wonder. Flashback. Earth, 3 months ago inside a dark underground base. A group of scientists stood around Cade. One of them, a woman with white hair, said, "You're the only one who can do this. Earth needs to stay quiet, but we also need to send a message." Cade. Nodded, a soft warning. No weapons, she reminded him. Just your mind. Let them fear the unknown. Back to present, the simulation paused. A voice echoed again. Unexpected result. Trial adjusted. Bonus round. Team test. Princess Thalara raised her head. What? A team test? She turned to the council leader. Who's the second player? The screen flashed. Player 2, Princess Thalara of Eloria. The room exploded in noise. Everyone stared at her. What? That's not possible. The system chose her randomly. But she's royalty, the leader said. The trial decides. No one can refuse. Thalara stood in shock. She had never entered the simulation, never fought without her royal guards, never stepped into danger alone. Now, she was being thrown into a fire maze. With a human she just mocked. The portal opened beside her. Cade was already waiting inside. He looked up and smirked. Coming to join the weakling, princess? Thalara clenched her fists and stepped inside. Darkness, then fire, then silence. The trial simulation, REBOOTD. Princess Thalara opened her eyes. She was no longer in her palace, no longer surrounded by royal guards, and no longer untouchable. Instead, she was standing beside the very human she had mocked inside a battlefield. Designed to break the mind, the sky above was red. The land was cracked and burning. Giant machines moved in the distance, scanning for targets. Welcome to Phase 3, the war field. This time, they were not enemies. They were teammates. Thalara looked around quickly. Her voice was sharp. Where are my weapons, my support unit? Cade was already checking the horizon. Gone, he said simply. The system stripped us both down. No armor, no tech, just instincts. Thalara turned toward him. You seem calm for someone standing in a death zone. Cade didn't reply. He simply pointed to the nearest cover, a broken metal structure. We move, now. They ran. Drones flew above them, searching. Red beams scanned the ground. They dove into cover just as a drone passed overhead. Thalara was breathing hard. She wasn't used to running without assistance. Her pride burned more than her legs. How can you move like this? You have no enhancements. Cade gave her a small smile. No visible enhancements. She frowned. What are you? As they moved between burning buildings, strange things began to happen. Cade dodged attacks before they came. He avoided mines that weren't even visible yet. He found hidden paths, secret weapons caches, and safe zones without any map. Thalara noticed everything. No normal human can do this, she said, narrowing her eyes. You're predicting the trial. Cade didn't answer. Instead, he stopped beside a wall. He pressed his hand on the surface. It opened, revealing a control room inside the simulation. Thalara was stunned. No one is supposed to have access to this place. Cade stepped inside calmly. That's what they believe. Inside the control room, Cade sat down and connected a cable from the console into a slot behind his neck. Thalara stared in shock. You have direct neural ports. That's forbidden. Cade's voice was calm. Not for me. The screen around them lit up. Data, maps, enemy movements, and simulation flaws were shown in real time. Thalara couldn't believe it. You're not here to win the trial, she said slowly. You're here to study us. Cade looked her in the eye. No, I'm here to warn you. Flashback, Earth. 1 year ago, a black room. A group of old humans stood around a digital galaxy map. A red circle blinked at the edge. They're coming, said one of them. Not now, but soon, and this galaxy isn't ready. Another voice replied, Then let's wake up the stars. Cade stood in the middle, listening quietly. Back in the present, Cade disconnected from the console. He turned to Thalara. Your empire believes humans are weak because we show peace. But we've survived worse than you can imagine. You think your galaxy is safe, but it's not. Something is coming. Something old. Thalara didn't speak. She had never seen a human like him. He wasn't just a soldier. He was something more. Suddenly, the control room started shaking. A giant machine crashed through the ceiling. It was the trial's final boss, a towering, mechanical beast with 6 arms and laser eyes. Thalara froze. She had seen this monster destroy entire squads in seconds. Cade stepped forward. Unarmed, the machine scanned him, then fired, but Cade didn't move. Instead, his skin began to glow. His back lit up with thin blue lines, hidden implants. Awaken. His voice echoed with power. Override code 017 HFY. System unlock. The air shook. The machine stopped moving. Its eyes turned blue. Then it knelt before him. Thalara stepped back. What did you just do? Cade turned to her, finally removing the top half of his chest armor. Beneath it was not a weak human body, but a network of light, data, and muscle fused into a living weapon. I didn't come here to show off, he said softly. I came to show you what's been hidden. Earth isn't behind. We've just been quiet. He walked past her toward the open exit gate. As he passed, he said, next time you laugh at human armor, ask yourself what we're hiding underneath. Location, deep space, unmarked zone, unknown beacon. A signal blinked once in total darkness. It wasn't loud. It wasn't bright. It didn't scream for help or power, but it reached far across galaxies. The message was short, encrypted, human-made. Observation phase complete. Contact confirmed. Prepare phase 2. Elsewhere, the galactic trial chamber. The trial had ended. But the tension had just begun. Cade and Princess Thalara stood together. No longer enemies, just confused allies in something much larger. The council stared at them from above. Hundreds of alien leaders whispered and argued. Who gave the human control over a Class V trial unit? He shouldn't have passed. That test has a 0.6% survival rate. Princess Thalara stepped forward, her voice steady but cold. This wasn't just a trial. It was a demonstration. Everyone turned to her. She looked directly at the council. And we were the audience. In a secure chamber below the arena, Cade sat in silence, guarded by a dozen elite bots. His armor was placed on a table beside him, open now, studied by alien engineers who understood only 10% of it. They had never seen anything like it. Not because it was shiny or massive, but because it pretended to be weak, and that scared them. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A secret line activated inside the chamber. A small hologram appeared, fuzzy, old-fashioned. It looked human. A woman's face. Her name was Dr. Ellen Raz, a scientist from Earth. Only Cade could see it. Only he could hear it. Her voice was calm, soft, but every word cut through the air. Well done, Cade. The message is spreading. They're asking questions. Begin next stage. Speak only to the princess. She has to be the first to know. Cade nodded once. Then the signal vanished. Later that night, aboard the royal cruiser, Princess Thalara couldn't sleep. She had faced monsters, commanded wars, destroyed planets. But tonight, her mind was stuck on a human. Cade had broken every rule she believed in. He wasn't fast. He wasn't flashy. He didn't roar or threaten, but he moved like he knew everything before it happened. And he made her feel something she had never felt before. Uncertainty. A beep echoed through her chamber. A message from Cade. Meet me in the lower hangar, alone. She went, not because she trusted him, but because something deep inside whispered, this human knows something we don't. Single quotes. Lower hangar. Quiet, empty, cold. Cade stood there, staring at the stars. When she arrived, he spoke without turning. You've always thought of Earth as behind, weak, slow. She crossed her arms. Because you hide everything. He turned. No, because we learned something long ago. The galaxy doesn't reward loud strength. It fears quiet control. He took out a small black cube. He threw it on the floor. It hovered and opened a hologram. What came next made her breath stop. The hologram showed a map, a region of dead space near the galaxy's edge. Then a giant black shape appeared. Not a planet, not a ship. Something alive. Something watching, something older than stars. What is that? She whispered. Cade replied, we call it the silence. It devours systems. No signal escapes, no survivors. The map zoomed out. Multiple empires had vanished there without a single warning. We tracked it for years. While your empire built weapons, we watched, learned, hid. Thalara stepped back. Why are you showing this to me? Cade's voice dropped lower. Because your empire is next. Flashback. Earth. 8 months ago, inside Earth's secret base, scientists studied the creature. They didn't build bombs, they built sensors, cloaking shields, silent satellites. Cade stood before the board. If we show our power too soon, he said, they'll unite out of fear. A general asked, then what do we do? Cade, we send a whisper. Back in the hangar, Cade walked past Thalara and looked out the window. Your empire is proud, but pride won't save you. He handed her a thin disc. Inside this are our notes, our models, our warning. She didn't move. So he said one last thing. If you don't believe me, ask your mother why she banned humans from the core systems 20 years ago. Her eyes widened. That was a royal secret. Cade put on his armor again, slow, calm, silent. But this time, Thalara didn't laugh at it. Because now she wanted to know what else it was hiding. And she wanted to know what Earth hadn't said yet. Far away, in a silent corner of the galaxy, a red star blinked out. No sound, no warning, just darkness. And something moved in it. Watching, waiting, somewhere beyond known space. A scream echoes without sound. A star dies, not from war, not from age. It just stops. No light, no radiation, no trace. It is as if it was never born. Something watches from the void. Something that remembers hunger. Meanwhile, aboard the Elorian royal ship, Princess Thalara stood alone in the royal chamber. 1,000 stars floated outside the glass wall, but her eyes weren't on them. They were on the small disc Cade had given her. Inside it was a message, a map, a warning. And a truth her mother had hidden. She had replayed the data a dozen times. But this time, she didn't stop at midway. This time, she watched all the way through. What she saw made her knees weak, not just about the silence, but about Earth. Humans weren't behind. They were waiting. Watching. Preparing. And now, calling her for help. A soft alarm rang. She looked up. Her guards stormed in. Your Highness, said one. A trial alert has activated. System anomaly. Random co-op mission assigned. Thalara blinked. I didn't authorize a mission. No, Princess, the guard said nervously. You were selected. Her stomach turned. Selected by what? The trial itself. Moments later, Simulation Room 7. Cade was already inside. He turned as Thalara stepped in, dressed in only light combat gear, no armor, no command suit, no royal crest. Again? She asked. Cade nodded. The system pulled us both. Not me, not you, it. She stared at the glowing gate ahead. Random pairing is forbidden for royalty. Cade smiled. Rules are breaking themselves now. The trial began. They landed in silence. Not on a battlefield. Not in a jungle, but in a frozen wasteland. White fog covered everything. No signal. No HUD. No drones. Just cold. And footsteps behind them. Where are we? Thalara asked, her voice shaky. Cade didn't answer. He was listening. Then he said, we're not alone. Something big moved in the mist. Slow, dragging metal. And then it screamed. Not a beast. Not a machine. Something in between. Thalara raised her hand to summon her shield. Nothing happened. Her voice cracked. My tech's not working. Cade glanced at her. This test isn't about power. It's about choice. Then he moved. They ran through the fog. Ice cracked beneath them. The monster followed. Alara tripped. Her leg hit sharp rock. Blood spilled. She couldn't walk. She tried to stand, but her royal pride had no power here. I can't, she whispered. Cade stopped, turned back, lifted her without a word. Why are you helping me? She asked weakly. Cade's voice was steady. Because now you understand what it's like to be underestimated. Hours passed inside the trial. They survived together. No weapons, no commands, no status. Only trust. At night, they hid in a cave. Cade lit a small fire using old human tech. Thalara watched him closely. Her voice softer now. You knew the system would fail me. I didn't know, he said. But I hoped it would. So you could see how we survive. She stared at him for a long time. No armor, no helmet. Just a human with strange eyes and a quiet strength. I thought humans were loud, messy, weak, she whispered. Cade looked at the fire. We can be, but when it matters, we become something else. Suddenly the wind outside died. Everything went silent. Even the fire stopped flickering. Cade stood. It's coming, Thalara asked. What is? He replied with only 2 words. A shadow. The fog split, and through it came a shape. Tall, thin, blacker than space. It didn't walk. It floated. No data appeared. No reading. Not even sound. It wasn't part of the simulation. Thalara's mouth went dry. That's real, isn't it? Cade nodded slowly. It found us. He reached into his belt and pulled out something small, a tiny beacon. He crushed it in his hand. A blue light blinked once, then vanished. What was that? She asked. Earth's signal, he said. Now they know. Know what? Cade looked at the dark creature approaching. The silence has entered simulation space. The creature raised its long arm. The air bent around it. Reality cracked like glass. Cade stepped in front of the Lara. No armor, no shield. Just resolve. The creature lunged. Everything went white. Simulation ended. Emergency override activated. Cade and Thalara dropped to the chamber. Floor breathing hard. The scientists outside were panicking. This wasn't part of the program. It hijacked the trial. It's breaching our systems. The royal guards rushed in, but stopped when they saw Thalara's face. Tears. Fear. Humility. She stood barely and said just one thing. Call the council. The galaxy must listen. Earth was right. A shattered throne room. Princess Thalara stood alone among the broken pillars and fallen banners of her empire. Outside, the sky burned red with distant wars. She was no longer the proud princess who mocked the human warrior. Now, she was a messenger of a secret she barely understood, inside a hidden chamber deep beneath the ruins. Cade removed his armor piece by piece, not to show off, but to reveal. The metal plates fell with soft clinks on the floor, exposing the network of glowing blue lines and living technology beneath. Lara watched silently. This is not just armor, Cade said softly. It's a part of me, a part of Earth. Her eyes traced the lines of light running like veins over his skin. Your armor is alive? He nodded. More than that. It learns, adapts, and grows stronger with me. It's the result of centuries of quiet work. She reached out, hesitant. How did Earth keep this hidden? Cade smiled faintly, because we knew the galaxy would never believe us if we shouted. We chose silence. The room darkened. A hologram lit up between them, showing images of Earth's hidden projects, ships cloaked from view, weapons that bend space, and soldiers linked to machines with their minds. Thalara's breath caught. Your warriors are part machine? We call it symbiosis, Cade said. Not machine or man. but something new. She shook her head in wonder. You have been fighting wars we didn't even see. Suddenly, alarms blared. The silence was broken by urgent voices. Princess! The council demands your presence. The galaxy is fracturing. Thalara straightened. She looked at Cade with new respect. Then we must go. Together. On their way to the council chamber, Thalara asked quietly, Why show me this now? Cade looked at her. Because you changed. You stopped seeing humans as weak. You saw what lies beneath the armor. She smiled softly. And now I see the truth beneath my own pride. In the Grand Council Hall, leaders from countless worlds waited. The mood was tense. Cade and Thalara entered side by side. A hush fell. Thalara spoke first. Your empires face a threat like no other. A darkness from the edges of space that consumes. Without mercy, Cade stepped forward, but Earth is prepared. We have waited, hidden, and learned. He lifted his hands, and the blue lines beneath his skin glowed softly. Together, we can fight this, but only if we stop fearing each other. Murmurs filled the hall. Some leaders looked angry, others afraid. Thalara's voice cut through. We must unite. Not just for our empires, but for the survival of all. She turned to Cade. Will you fight with us? Cade nodded. For the galaxy, for humanity. Outside the hall, the stars seemed brighter, but far away, the red glow of the silence continued to grow. The real battle was just beginning. The stars were cold. No sound traveled through the void. No ships crossed the empty space. Between systems. Only darkness. Only waiting. Far from the council chambers and royal palaces, deep in the black, a shadow moved. It was the beginning of the end. A wave of silence that swallowed light. It was the signal no one wanted to see. The galaxy's greatest threat had arrived. Inside the command room of the Earth fleet, Cade stood silent, staring at the holographic map. Red dots blinked across the galaxy systems, lost to the silence. Behind him, a fleet of ships stood ready. They were not the biggest. They were not the loudest. But they were the sharpest edge of hope. Princess Thalara entered the room, her silver armor gleaming faintly. She stood next to Cade. We have one chance. Cade nodded. Together we are stronger than any fear or shadow. Outside, the galaxy held its breath. Planets aligned. Ships moved into formation. Leaders sent their messages. The galaxy united, fragile, new, but determined. Suddenly, a silent ripple crashed through the stars. Communication cut out. Ships lost control. Systems shut down. The shadow was inside. It was here. The battle began. Blinding light. Silent explosions. Ships vanished without a trace. But Cade and Thalara fought with a fierce hope. At the center of the storm, Cade removed his helmet. His face calm, eyes glowing. He spoke to the fleet. This is not the end. The blue lines across. His body lit up like stars. He took a deep breath and jumped into the unknown. The screen went black. Silence. Then one word appeared. HFY.